Technology is increasingly changing the way we lead our lives, but is it about to change the way we eat? Here to look into the calorie crystal ball is the food writer extraordinaire, Dani Valent.
Thanks
Good
for having me.
build-up, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good build-up. So yeah, there's always stuff happening in the world of food and technology, and I thought I'd touch on 4 pretty good news stories in the world of food. Now, the first one is fruit sensors. So infrared spectrometers have been used over a period of years to sense food. So you can aim it at some produce, it'll tell you how sweet it is, it'll tell you if there's a hole in your watermelon. And it's particularly popular in Japan, where fruit is arranged by sweetness. So you might have seen those crazy like $15,000 cantaloupes or the $80 strawberry. So if you're buying that such fruit, you really want to know that it's perfect. But what I'm really excited about is a new use of this technology. As it's become smaller, more pocket-sized, more accessible, it's going to end up in phones.
So you hold your phone over said piece of fruit, and with this app it can tell you how fresh it is.
It can tell you
like scanning something.
Yeah, like scanning it. It can tell you the sweetness of it. It could tell you the gluten content in bread. It could tell you the alcoholic content in a drink. But what I'm very excited about, point it at an avocado and it can tell you if it's brown inside.
Rubbish. I'll believe it when I see it.
Life-changing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that takes all the fun out of squeezing both ends of the avocado.
Oh, it's you that does that.
Never both ends, Michael. Just the top.
Yeah.
Just the top.
Okay.
Very
And
gently.
squeeze them hard.
One of my favourite cards is by an American humorist who has the 7 stages of the avocado, which is not ripe, not ripe, not ripe, not ripe, not ripe, bad.
Yep, that's it. And I seem to get it on
It's really
bad.
all you get with avocados.
That's right.
Neither not ripe or bad. There's half an hour where it's perfect.
We need our spectrometers to find that half an hour.
Beautiful.
Okay, number 2 is bots. So you might have seen a few months ago that Domino's was trialling pizza delivery by these cute little robots that trundle along the pavement. Fine, everyone needs access to capricciosa when they need it. But what I'm really excited about is this notion that you might be able to use these bots to deliver fresh produce to people who are in what's known as food deserts. So it's an American term for those parts of suburbia with little access to fresh produce.
That's called a delivery truck, isn't it? Rather than something like that, which won't really go a very long way.
Without
Well, it's that last mile. They call it the last mile, like Amazon calls it the last mile. That's the most expensive and the most carbon emitting in terms of getting things to people. So if you've got something that's environmental, it doesn't, it can just trundle along by itself and do this job, this final job, then I think it could assist people who don't have access to fresh food. So another good news story.
And hopefully it isn't requisitioned by people along the way who can smell the pizza and say, ooh,
Yes,
stop there, boss.
Or vandalised by, outrageous, Aussie kids who are thinking, oh yeah, we'll have some fun with the bot. Let's kick the bot.
It's full of cameras, and apparently it can even talk to you if you try to tamper with it. So
back away slowly.
get away.
Exactly, that's right.
Leave me
Get
alone.
away from my pizza. Get away from my bananas.
Very good.
Okay, what's next? Meal kits?
Meal kits. So
Yes.
meal kits are these, again, getting food to consumers. So it's this idea that you have pre-portioned food and a recipe that's delivered to your home. The sell is that you can cook a healthy meal in under 30 minutes. There's a number of people putting these meal kits together and delivering them to people. One of the big operators in the US is Blue Apron, and what I find interesting about what they're doing is working with farmers. So instead of a chef just sitting in front of a blank sheet of paper and magicking up ideas for a recipe, they're going to farmers that are close to their distribution centres, talking to them about what could best grow in these plots of land, and then scheduling it out using soil sensors and spreadsheets that extend up to 3 years in advance, and working out what can best grow there, and then designing the meals from that. So I think it's a great way of sort of flipping that agricultural paradigm.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because we know that some of the worst stuff that's put into our food to help it grow and to help it last is because of distance. And because of how long it has to stay in storage and the long distance it has to travel. If you can actually shorten that, then maybe we don't need to put all that stuff in our food and in the food chain, and we end up with healthier food that we're eating.
Absolutely, and it's about soil health as well. So, they can advise people, you've grown broccoli, perhaps now pea shoots, that will rehabilitate the soil as well as provide us with ingredients for our meal kits.
Now finally, Dani, tell us about electricity-free refrigeration.
Yeah, so
It's called a Melbourne winter.
Yeah, that'll do it. But if you're in Morocco, perhaps not. So this is a great new innovation. It's called an evaptainer, and the technology itself isn't new. It's evaporative cooling, but this is an electricity-free form of. It's like an esky. You pour water into a chamber. As the water evaporates, it pulls heat out of the central chamber and keeps food cool. The reason that this is such a great thing to use in some African nations is there's little access to electricity and therefore refrigeration, and around 45% of food can spoil before it reaches the consumer in Africa, which is terrible.
It is, given big problems with a lot of people getting hold of food, any sort of food there. So if that helps, that's a fantastic move.
Yeah, absolutely, and means that people have to go to the market towns less often, meaning that they can, stay at home, earn money, feed their family.
Okay.
So.
Could you give me the number of that pizza bot? I might.
Yeah,
work
I'll
out
just
a
trundle
happy
one
working
in for you.
relationship with it.
I think it'd be nice to have it trundling into the studio, wouldn't it, of a
With
morning?
a bit of toast.
Delivering breakfast
Toast
to
and
us.
coffee.
That
We'll
can
work
happen
on that.
too. All right.
Dani, great to have you on board. Thank you.
Thank you.